Even more on her shoulders because of the most significant injury of the first round. Unfortunately for the Wolfpack, their all ACC guard Zoe Brooks got hurt on Friday night. They hope if they advance, she could play next weekend. But in her stead, freshman Kaishi Lunin will make the first start of her career. Almost a year ago to the date at Millennium High School in Goodyear, Arizona, she was leading her team to a state championship with a 37-point outing. She's been in big games before, this the biggest of her young collegiate career. And Jones will control the tip. Road Reds for the 7-seed, home whites for Michigan.
Michigan plays primarily man-to-man. They do have, NC State has a size advantage inside with 6'6" Trieger.
Had that shot blocked by Ashley Sofakanik, the transfer from Bucknell. And this is Michigan's game. Rebound, run it.
They play fast, they're aggressive to the rim, they put great pressure on the rim, and they protect inside. And they love the full court pressure as well, Beth.
With the air ball, but Brooks Quarles Daniels cleans it up. The starting lineups brought to you by Capital One. Caden Samuels won a national championship with Connecticut a year ago. And Pierre and Trieger, you heard him talking in the studio, might have the advantage inside, but already 2 blocks for the 6'3" junior, Sofakanik.
There's the rim protection that I'm talking about, with their ability to gap it and protect the rim with some shot blocking ability. Sofakanik's right there with a nice switch.
Former Patriot League Player of the Year, helped beat the Patriot League champs Holy Cross in the first round. Another touch for Pierre.
It's going to be a great matchup right here. Pierre and Olsen.
Olsen able to bother the shot. Olivia, the third-team AP All-American. And Jones able to knock it out of bounds. These Capital One starting lineups now for Michigan. We've told you about the 3 sophomores. Quarles Daniels, the transfer from Oakland, and Sofakanik, both taking a step up this year into the Big Ten. Sofakanik. And there is Pierre, one of the best rebounders in the country. In fact, the best statistically in the power leagues this year.
Kaishi Lunin, a freshman, great handle. She's a lefty. Michigan jumping out hard on a hedge on a ball screen. And Lunin making one really good decision right there. Attack that outside hip and draw a foul.
Kim Barnes-Arico now in her 14th season with the Wolverines, 9 trips to the NCAA tournament. Their best showing a 2022 trip to the Elite 8. So trying to get to the Final Four for the first time in school history as Pierre scores inside.
In Kim Barnes-Arico, 30 years, she understands what it takes to win in March. She's got a lot of ways with her team that they can win. And playing fast and playing aggressive on the defensive end are 2 components of it that have helped them to these 26 wins this season.
Had a lot of success at St. John's before she arrived in Ann Arbor as her sophomore point guard Holloway drops one in. Here is Zam Jones. Drew 12 fouls in the win over Tennessee, and there's the pull-up and pop.
She might dribble a lot on the perimeter, but her 2 most powerful, impactful last 2 dribbles are the ones that matter in helping her create separation.
See if Michigan can get Olivia Olsen going. Their All-American has not had good offensive outings her last 2 times out. Wes Moore is on the Wolfpack bench. 37 years as a head coach, the last 13 in Raleigh. Only Gino has more active wins.
So Wes Moore's 4 times been ACC Coach of the Year. He's been the National Naismith Coach of the Year. He's had a lot of success in red and white for the Wolfpack, including 2 years ago, removed from the Final Four.
Good off the bounce for Michigan, getting into the lane for the early lead.
And that's the one thing about not having Zoe Brooks. She handles the ball, is a ball-dominant guard. She has the most experience on the NC State roster in these environments in March. She's played in the Final Four.
They do not have a senior on the team. Pierre knows that she's got to pick up some of the slack today. She's got 4 early on.
NC State's transition defense is going to be tested. Michigan is going to tilt the floor with their speed, and Sofakanik is excellent and running rim to rim.
She was a high school teammate of Zoe Brooks. St. John Vianney in New Jersey, where they won a state championship together.
I think it's much harder to speed a team up than it is to slow them down. And look at Lunan showing confidence right away. She's a confident kid. She played really well in the Tennessee game, played the fourth most minutes that she's played all season. And the most minutes she's played against aggressive overplaying defensive teams like Louisville in the ACC.
She did not come out in the fourth quarter after the Brooks injury. Scramble for the loose ball. And down on the deck for the tie-up. It will stay with Michigan.
So one of the great parts of Sulfacanic's skill set is she runs hard and gets her defender buried in the rim. She's going to make Trieger run the floor all game, and then a nice pull-up jumper in the middle third by Lunan.
Sulfacanic will check out. Kendall Dudley will come on.
NC State fans and WNBA fans will appreciate the comparison. Lunan to Isaiah James, who plays in Dallas for the Wings.
Lunan. Samuels on the run, got too far under the rim, and here comes Holloway with the push. Knocked loose by NC State, and the pass too much in front of Pierre. Of note now that Michigan starts to go to their bench, Debbie, they are also without a player. Macy Brown got hurt in practice yesterday, on crutches today, so she is unavailable.
Camille Pierre is guarding Daniels. Most teams don't guard number 5 in white because she's not a threat from the three-point line. So that allows Pierre to have 2 feet in the paint, clogging things up inside.
Coming up on the midway point of this first quarter, and even Steven thus far. Open look, just to beat the shot clock buzzer by Quarles Daniels.
And she knows people don't guard her, and that's why she's fired up. And Camille Pierre, usually you don't help off the strong side corner, but when Daniels is in the corner, you do. You got to make her hit a couple before NC State will adjust.
That was for 2. She does not have a three-pointer made all season. The double on Jones, and it is kept in play right in front of the Michigan bench, and then a foul going to be called here on Lunan. Michigan up 10-8.
Yes, I can't stop watching it. It's so good.
With the left hand, too.
I mean, look at her.
That was Zam as a 10-year-old, and now all grown up here today.
So
already significant news for NC State. We've already reported that her backcourt mate, Zoe Brooks, is out with an injury. And now her newest backcourt mate, Kaishi Lunan, is out with 2 fouls in the first 5 minutes, so Devin Quigley is on. And there's a foul going to be called against Dudley. We can also report, too, the officials looked at the replay during the timeout, and that Quarles Daniels basket to beat the shot clock buzzer a moment ago did not beat the shot clock buzzer, so they took that bucket away from Michigan.
And Quigley, number 0 in red for NC State, is a sophomore and is known as a three-point shooter. She's going to have to make some shots for NC State to be able to win on the road. She's going to get a lot of minutes here, and she only played 7 minutes in the NC State-Tennessee game.
Holloway pull up on the run, and Pierre is there to track it down. A couple of rebounds early for Camille. Samuels will try for 3 from the corner. That's short.
See, NC State worried about their transition game of Michigan, so not hitting the glass.
He dropped 3 red jerseys on that shot. All went back to defend. Holloway off the screen. Boy, that's a couple of air balls. Some nerves possibly early on here, affecting both sides.
Well, I think if you're NC State, you come into it and you go, like, this is house money. We don't have Zoe Brooks, our best player.
Should be, yeah.
I mean, Camille Pierre has led the team in scoring and rebounding, but Zoe runs the show for NC State. And you're playing at home at Michigan, and there's more pressure on the home team sometimes in these NCAA tournament atmospheres.
Double team comes to Pierre, and she walks with it. First of our doubleheader today on ABC. Coming up next, LSU and Texas Tech. The Kim Mulkey's Tigers dropped 100 in the first round to advance. That is one of the most exciting offenses to watch in the country.
Well, this pace right now is NC State's pace early. And just try to steal some minutes now with Lunan on the bench with Quigley on the floor.
Olsen turned back around, and Olivia starts out 0 for 3. Just 37% shooting in her last 2 games.
That's a tough 2 right there.
Jones is off the mark.
Good D by Daniels.
Silas Swords gotta close out on her. She's the top 3-point threat. Here's the 4th sophomore, Tayala Del Foss, number 33. Swords step back for 3, around and out. Pierre, and they're gonna call a foul on the box out on NC State and on Quigley.
Oh boy,
wow.
Westmore not happy. Olivia Olsen was involved in that exchange. Oh, there's a hook right there, and Pulani Spurlock-Welsh, the official, caught it from this angle. The angle we're on.
Del Foss will try for 3. That time it's a great box out by Trieger. On the run, Pierre in transition for the Wolfpack.
What great vision by Jones, all the way to the rim. It's what good point guards do. Butt to the sideline, eyes up the floor.
Our second round coverage, Regional 3, Fort Worth, the 2 seed and the 7 seed. After just 1 upset in the first round, are we due for some in the second round in the next 48 hours? Quarles Daniels trying to prevent that from happening, ties it up. She's got 6 of their 10 points.
They like Camille Pierre on this set right here. Look at the double team. That's a couple times they've trapped Zam Jones and have had success turning her over.
Quarles Daniels for Swords for the lay-in.
2 times Kim Barnes-Arico mixing up her ball screen coverage. Watch how Michigan brings 2 to the ball right here. This set, they've scouted it, and they do a really good job of closing the trap. Up the floor, Zam Jones trying to increase the intensity of the game. Watch right here. Look at the vision to the floor, up the floor to the rim. This is well done by NC State.
That was on their last possession.
That's a great job scouting by Michigan to know that that set that NC State goes to, that they can double off of that and get a turnover. And they're aggressive in their traps, Beth. They are committed to playing 2 on the ball. And 1 pass away, denying.
Officials have not given word what they are looking at. Looks like they put 2 seconds back on the game clock, 1:29 to go.
They can go at any time for timing and scoring errors. Del Foss on the point guard. That's a lot of size and length in the vision of Jones.
6'3" defender on the point guard. Trieger off the bounce, gets into the lane, missed the layup. Pierre able to tip it to herself. It's a fresh 20 for NC State. Final minute of the first quarter. Jones for 3.
See, the NC State has to have better awareness on that switch. They need to spread it out and let Jones go one-on-one against Olsen.
Had a chance to drive to the bucket, and that's going to be an offensive foul on Olsen, and that is Olivia's second foul. So both sides have a starter in trouble early. And that's the All-American to the bench.
As long as it's consistent, in terms of
Did you see the
calling
foul
that.
there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was physical, but I'd let some of that go. It's early in the game. But you got to set the tone if you're the officials also.
Zam dribbled that one where you shouldn't, almost got burned. And now they will turn it over. Oh, and a foul going to be called here on Michigan off the ball. On Sofakanik, let's see, was she holding up Trieger trying to get to the loose ball?
Good trap, good high hands over there on the corner. That's not where you're supposed to be with the ball.
Well, she did have a bit of jersey on that.
NC State can't dribble the ball over midcourt and pick it up.
10 on the shot clock. Jones again with the taller defender on her, spins, gives it up. Trieger has the range and hits the three.
6'6", can shoot it in the slot.
Final 10 seconds of the quarter.
That's where she makes her triples.
Holloway doesn't use the screen, puts it up, long rebound. Swords, good if it goes, around and out. Trieger puts NC State in front through the first 10.
All 6'6" of her with a pick and pop ability and an ability to face up. You don't see.
Thank you, ladies. We are set to start the second quarter here in Ann Arbor. NC State with the 1-point lead over Michigan. Olivia Olson sitting with 2 personal fouls for Michigan. Kaishi Lunan continues to sit with 2 personal fouls for NC State, both sides down a starter. Winner advancing to the Sweet 16 in Fort Worth next weekend to play either Louisville or Alabama. Sofakanik with a rebound. Brooke Quarles-Daniels has led the way for Michigan so far. Camille Pierre working on another double-double already for NC State. Holloway blocked by Zam Jones. Of course, NC State playing today without all ACC guard Zoe Brooks. Got hurt in their first round win over Tennessee. Maddie Cox gives it up for Devin Quigley. That is the shot that could be a difference maker for NC State if Quigley's got to play a lot of minutes.
One of the things NC State has to avoid is all the corners. They got to keep the ball in the middle of the floor. If they can do that, they can attack Michigan through the middle third. But if you pick it up in the corners or right over midcourt, that is trouble. And we've already seen Michigan twice be able to turn NC State over when they've picked the ball up over midcourt.
Backdoor, Silas Swords leaning into the defender, up and in.
It's a great call by Kim Barnes-Arico off the timeout to isolate Swords against Quigley.
Her second bucket. Let's see if they'll continue to pick on Devin, the sophomore who only played 7 minutes the other night. Jones, pull up.
Those are tough shots.
Zam.
She likes to go left off the bounce.
Zam's 1 for 4 after the 30-point outing against Tennessee. Swords back-to-back buckets.
Westmore's going to have to consider zone
as they go after the newcomer.
They will play some zone, NC State. They did play 13 possessions of zone against Tennessee, and here comes the trap by Michigan.
It's got to hustle to get it over, and a turnover forced by the pressure.
The last 2 possessions offensively. Look at this backdoor look. No help at the rim by NC State. And then another Quigley over helping, and you got a 3-point shooter. You got to come with a long closeout, and she just busts up that top foot.
Here's Swords again. She scored the last 6 points. Sofakanik. And they're going to get Pierre for a bump. That will be her first foul.
The one thing NC State has to avoid is foul trouble. That's why I mentioned Coach Westmore, who will sprinkle in a little zone. They primarily like to play man-to-man. They like to change up their ball screen coverages.
So Pierre goes out, replaced by Cox, and now Kaishi Lunan is back on with 2 fouls to replace Quigley. And let's see if that is a zone indicator, Debbie.
Beth, Don't you think freshmen are no longer freshmen when you get to this time of the year?
Absolutely.
Kaishi Lunan has been in some high-pressure situations before, and Westmore trusts her. That's why he puts her back on the floor with 2 fouls.
Well, we talked about this, you know, with Michigan. They want this. That was something they talked about with us. They want these big games. Same thing with NC State. You don't go to the ACC or the Big Ten to be a wallflower. You want the moments, and how do you perform in those moments? They're going to run a double team at Lunan. Another dangerous pass intercepted.
They are a run and jump team in the backcourt.
Swords, deep three. Timeout, NC State.
The run and jump, again, the pressure, the length, the commitment to the traps. And Swords steps into one. Michigan forcing NC State's timeout. Well, Silas Swords has made the last 3 buckets for Michigan. How about this backdoor look right here off the timeout? The next play, over help to the paint. And attack a closeout, get to the rim, and that sets up her range from outside the arc. Look at the footwork, how quickly she gets her feet under her shoulders and lets it fly. She has made 76 triples this season. And Zoe Brooks, this is where you miss her, because she is an untrappable, unflappable, one-person press breaker, and NC State's having trouble with it.
They've turned it over 3 straight times. Usually Brooks would just be able to dribble through it herself. And Holloway makes it an 11-0 Michigan run.
So you got to clear out and be ready to make yourself available, because they want to run and jump. And now if you dribble in the corner, you better be ready for them to trap you.
Michigan scored 12 points in the first quarter. They've scored 11 already in the first 3 minutes here in the second. Almost had another takeaway.
So you call the timeout because you turn it over, and when you come right back out, you cannot mishandle. If you can advance past, you do so, but what Michigan is sensing right now is their opportunity, the momentum on their side defensively.
With Brooks, they didn't turn it over at midcourt. Without her today, they've already turned it over 5 times at midcourt. Sitting with a foot injury, she suffered against Tennessee in the first round.
I mean, look how agitated she is. And I talked to her before the game. She said, I'm going to be positive, I'm going to encourage, I'm going to do everything I can to help
just said,
my backcourt.
Michigan more than ready to take advantage of the situation. They've hit their last 4 of 5. They're going to get another chance here. NC State stays with the man defense. Lunan continues to play with 2 fouls, number 7 in red.
See Camille Pierre playing way off Daniels.
Oh, and she just committed her 3rd. A reach in on Swords. And Zoe Brooks' replacement in the starting lineup today, hampered by foul trouble. And she will have to leave.
I really thought Westmore would consider a little bit of zone, just to change it up a little. See if you can change the rhythm. He went zone in the Tennessee game in the second quarter, and it changed the tempo of the game.
So Lunan has only played 7 of the 14 minutes thus far. Swords to Delphos. Sila looking for it. Off the bounce mid-range. And Pierre is there. Her 5th rebound of this first half.
Well, Pierre's going to have to help break pressure, and she's going to have to be more assertive offensively. Yeah, Pierre's saying, pass it over here, come to my side. I'm going to post up right here. She was calling for the ball.
Pierre gets doubled. They're looking for their first basket of this quarter. Samuels baseline out the other side, and Quigley stepped out of bounds. 6 consecutive turnovers for NC State.
This is where you need your leader to take a collective deep breath. And you just look at it like it's 4 possessions, okay?
Yep.
We just take care of the basketball, and we can get in our rhythm. That's what NC State's thinking.
Michigan holding them to a 7-minute drought right now with their stellar defense. Swords gets out of a trap. Delphos hits the three.
That is a great fill behind the penetration. She's a 33% three-point shooter, Beth, when you're given that much time.
And Michigan doing this without their All-American, Olivia Olson. On the bench with 2 fouls. They force another turnover. Holloway, unattended. The defender got away from her, and then Pierre snags the rebound. Can they break the seal here?
Long cross-court passes.
And one for Pierre. That's their first basket of the quarter. The NCAA Women's Championship is presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet? The first round is presented by Intuit TurboTax. Now this is taxes. And that has led to 12 points off of turnovers for Michigan ladies. Thank you very much. Outscoring NC State 14-2. Yeah, the students have the, Wes's face has been getting red. He's been trying to urge his team on. But it's been a big second quarter for the Maize and Blue. The winner of this one will head to the Sweet 16 in Fort Worth, Texas. And here are some of the big-time scorers from the first round. Only the one upset and a handful, Debbie, of 30-point scorers, including Zam Jones from right here in Ann Arbor. Olivia Miles had the triple-double in TCU's big win. Don't forget, this is the first game of our doubleheader. We've got another 2-seed LSU taking on Texas Tech in Baton Rouge. That's coming up next on ABC. Big Ten 11-1 in the first round. The ACC went 8-2. The SEC went 8-2. The ACC went 7-2. And this showdown here, one of 4 Big Ten ACC matchups in the second round. The Big Ten goes head-to-head against the SEC 5 times. That'll decide some of the payout, Debbie.
That's a lot of units to be decided by conferences.
Units is
money that you get.
Refresh our memory.
Money that you get for playing in the NCAA tournament like the men. This is the second year units have been instituted in the women's game. And you accumulate units by advancing in the NCAA tournament.
Winner of this one would face the winner of Louisville and Alabama. So there you go with an ACC-SEC matchup. Trieger, nice pass from Zam Jones and an one.
You know, Beth, I talk often about the pressure package, having these things built into your system. Dribble entries, high post entries, and the ability to go off the bounce. This is NC State's game. When the court opens up, they can get off the bounce into the paint, and Trieger does a nice job of being available.
Zam already with 4 assists, and Trieger gets the 3-point play as NC State tries to settle down. It was a turbulent and turnover-frenzied first 5 minutes of this second quarter for them.
Looks like NC State going a little junk defense here. Is this a box and one with Quigley on Swords?
It does appear to be that. Delphos, they'd rather have her take the 3 than Swords, and Trieger has the rebound.
I like it. Westmore changing it up. You got to have a different way to throw the rhythm of the game off on defense and offense. You have to have other ways you can play. You can't play the same way all the time.
Jones pulls up short. Zam now just 1 for 5. Here comes Quarles Daniels the other way, knocked away by Cadence Samuels, and Pierre on the run, missed the layup. Samuels is there to rebound and gets fouled.
Got 2
What hustle from her at both ends of the floor. And are they going to call the foul on her going over the back?
We had 2 whistles on it. The trail official, not the lead, took the call.
It is on Cadence.
Good hustle right there by Delphos to be able to disrupt Pierre on a layup, and then Well, that's a tough one to go against NC State, but you can see she is over the back there.
Michigan winning this quarter 14-5 to open up the lead.
Olsen back on the floor, Beth, with those 2 fouls.
Number 1 in white. She's scoreless so far. Holloway, no. Quarles-Daniels, nice play by Delfosse, and Olsen still can't find the bottom of the net. Here comes Quigley to the other end. Holloway, tough shot, not the possession NC State wanted. Holloway trying to grab it. Dudley working on Trieger. Olsen into the lane. NC State forces a difficult one. Final 2 minutes of this first half. Pierre gonna go coast to coast, lays it in with a left.
She's got to come alive for NC State. Neither team doing a really good job in their transition defense right now, but that's how skilled the others are in pushing the ball.
Out of that Westmore timeout, NC State 5 straight stops. Offensive rebound. Make it 6 straight stops.
It's a 2-possession game after all those turnovers to survive that run by Michigan. And at the same time, Michigan not able to separate more from all the turnovers they generated.
Everybody's outside on the perimeter right now. Jones out of control. Kept alive by State. Pierre checks the shot clock and gets it blocked by Dudley.
I mean, she got by Dudley the last time. I'm surprised she didn't go all the way to the rim.
Final minute of this first half. Holloway knocks one down.
Good job by Holloway. She hit 5 triples in the game against Holy Cross. She's 0 for 3 from 3, and she steps into a mid-range jump shot.
They had missed 8 straight prior to that. Samuels gets on the backside and 1, and another assist, number 6 for Zam Jones.
Really good vision again to the rim. Jones with a handle. Now you see why Kim Barnes-Arico's bringing 2 players to Jones. Trying to turn her over, take her vision away, and that's a great find on the backside of pressure.
Good catch and finish for Samuels, the junior transfer from Connecticut. Has that blue eyebrow to honor her late grandmother, a big influence in her life. Came off the bench for the Huskies and now a starter this year at NC State.
That wasn't travel?
Wide open Swords, they lost her. And after Michigan took the big lead, they have gone ice cold. Just one of their last 10 shots. NC State can make it a 1-possession game now, Debbie.
Get out of the way. Let her go.
Jones attacks, and 1 again for NC State.
Undenied. Get out of the way. Let her go one-on-one. She has been terrific here in Ann Arbor.
This is NC State's 3rd and 1 opportunity of this first half. They've cashed the previous 2 in.
Drew 12 fouls against Tennessee's defense on Friday night. She's drawn 2 here in the first half.
Final seconds of the first half. Olsen, Swords wide open, transition, couldn't hit the 3. And it is a 1-possession game. Michigan and
the first half. Michigan's defense generating turnovers. NC State playing in the open floor.
Today's slam dunk matchups brought to you by Wendy's. So Zam scoring or assisting on 17 of the 25. And 9 points for Sila Swords in a big second quarter for her. We saw Michigan go on an 11-0 run, and then NC State finished out the half on a 12-2 run. to make this a one-possession game. Winner is on to the Sweet 16 in Fort Worth next weekend.
Michigan showing some zone out of the half. They didn't show any. They played one possession of zone, and then they go to man inside 10 seconds on the shot clock.
Jones forcing the deep three was Holloway, and a good Michigan defensive stance to open up this second half. Here's a look at the significant players and numbers. Pierre already working on a double-double. NC State cooled off the turnovers late in that first half. And Olivia Olson was scoreless, the All-American for Michigan, #1 in white. She gets the hockey assist there to Ashley Sofakanik down on the block.
That's why, Kim Barnes-Rico, you save a little something in your back pocket for the second half. The first possession of the half generates another turnover.
Same group of starters out there for the Wolverines. Devin Quigley will start this third quarter with Kaishi Lunin in foul trouble. 3 fouls in the first half. Pierre scores in the lane.
This better be a heavy dose of Camille Pierre for NC State in the second half. She's got advantages on the offensive end that she can score on.
Michigan, meanwhile, has a wider variety of bucket getters.
5 for 10 in the first half for Pierre, 10 first half points. This gives her 12. She's had 22 double-doubles on the season. She's going to get a double-double every game, but she's got to be a little more assertive offensively.
Honorable mention All-American for the second year in a row, and assertive indeed on the drive, and it's a one-point game. The counter from Michigan. Quarles-Daniels back out to Holloway, short on the 3-ball. Swords is there, and a foul.
Camille Pierre sizing it up right here in transition. She can win this matchup. And when she rebounds on the defensive end, I think she will help start bringing the ball up the floor, because that's an adjustment I'm looking for NC State to make so that Zam Jones doesn't have all of that responsibility, plus the responsibility of scoring.
Second foul on Samuels. The inbound well executed by the Wolverines, and they find Swords, and she's into double digits with 11. The sophomore from Sudbury, Ontario, who was a high school All-American playing in the States and Long Island, gets the takeaway there. Olson looking for a shooter, finds one.
Holloway off from three-point land. 5 triples in the Holy Cross game. Struggling outside the arc.
And inside,
today.
Debbie. She's just 3 for 12 so far. Olson gets a steal. Running with Holloway. Mila will take it herself and lay it up and in.
Steal score mentality for Michigan.
Jones to Samuels. Well, they beat the press and now can get into their half-court set. Zam Jones on the drive, lefty lay-in, and Zam draws another foul.
So quick, explosive, and a first step that's hard to keep you from keeping her in front. She is just so quick and animated, and she is having a great tournament in the postseason.
Debbie, she has drawn 15 fouls in 6 quarters. And it's the 5th and 1 of the day for NC State.
It's hard to keep her in front. That's why you got to keep bringing 2 to the ball when she has it in her hands. Make her give it up.
Olson defended by Quigley. Swords gets through the elevator screen for an open look, and there's Quarles-Daniels. She's making a lot of hustle plays for Michigan today. Holloway, not again.
Camille Pierre has great hands. When she rebounds the basketball, very rarely does anybody take it away from her. I want to see her dribble busted up the floor sometimes.
State with a chance to tie or take the lead. They trailed by 13 in the first half. Pierre, well defended by Dudley. Olson.
They got to run something for Swords here. Get her open. She's so good off of every screening action.
Yeah, they did that last possession. This will be Olsen taking it herself, drawing a foul. And let's see if a free throw will help her break the ice. The sophomore from New Hope, Minnesota, last year's Big Ten co-freshman of the year, all-conference this season, and a third-team Associated Press All-American. For the 6th straight year, every NCAA Women's Championship game is on the networks of ESPN. For more information, go to ncaa.com. LSU Texas Tech is the second game of our ABC doubleheader today. Featured this evening on ESPN. How about Duke? How about Texas? Michigan State, Oklahoma in a 4-5 matchup. And can Olivia Miles go back-to-back triple doubles? It's TCU Washington, all coming up tonight. Second round coverage, and then all day tomorrow it'll start at noon Eastern on ESPN.
Yeah, Pierre was calling for a clear out. She's being aggressive. This is what she needs to do.
And that pass to the bench. And already the third turnover in the first 4 minutes for NC State.
Not been a clean game, but it's competitive, and it's what you expect when you're trying to survive and advance.
Yeah, drama building. Olsen spins, still wanting for her first field goal.
But you know what? I like Kim Barnes-Arica running a play for her, Beth. She makes a couple free throws now. You want to see if you can get her going.
NC State's got numbers. Jones, pass deflected by Olsen. State sloppy, missing opportunities to take a lead, and Dudley goes right at Trieger to score. And a takeaway.
Again,
Swords has it.
No Brooks.
Olsen, count it, and a foul. After an 0 for 6 start, Olivia finds the bottom of the net with a free throw coming, and Michigan's on another run.
NC State didn't even make the analytics graphic. No chance.
Now this Michigan group has been on a couple of nice runs here. One in the second quarter, and now one here to open up the third. Olivia Olsen to the free throw line, a 79% shooter. And let's send it over to Jess Sims.
So Zoe Brooks may be off the court, but she's having a huge impact in all of the huddles so far this game. Just in that last one, she said, "We're good, you're all right," specifically to the guards. You got to stay together. Of course, this is going to be a tough one right here, but there's still 15 minutes left. And Coach Moore said to me at halftime, he said, "We got to have more of a post presence. We're doing 5 out, we need 4 out, 1 in, so we can get Tilda Trieger the ball."
Thank you very much, Jess.
Well, off the timeout, they turn it over again. They get into one of those hot zones we showed you in the first half and don't have any outlets.
Well, and those post players that Jess referenced, they got to help them on the glass. They're giving up a lot of offensive rebounds.
Yeah, I'm looking for when Pierre is on the floor to be very assertive. This is a different lineup on the floor for Westmore. We might see some zone.
Yeah, I think he's getting Pierre a little extra breath out of the timeout. He's got Kaishi Lunin back in the game. Only 7 minutes today in foul trouble, and Olsen scores on the inbound. They're gonna take a look at the next break to make sure she beat the shot clock. They've already had one of those taken away today. Zam Jones, and one again. It's the 6th chance of the day for NC State, and this one will be Maddie Cox.
Again, it's the vision up the floor. When you allow her to have space and time with the ball in her hands, she finds backside opportunities, and you just got to do a better job here if you're NC State. 1 on the shot clock. They are going to review that.
Looks like she did get it off in time. Zam Jones, meanwhile, has picked up her 7th assist. 4 minutes to go here in the third quarter in Ann Arbor at Chrysler Center. Backdoor, Swords got it. Assist Holloway.
Another great setup by Holloway. Really well done. That's her second backdoor cut.
Quarles, Daniels, and Olsen trying to get the double team, and a takeaway. Holloway lay-in. The Michigan press has just been a backbreaker here today, and another take. Olsen, short corner, rattles it in. Timeout, NC State.
Michigan with a 14-point lead, their largest of the game, and watch the setup right here. She's going to take her defender up the lane, and Mila Holloway does a great job. Go away, then come back, drop it off for a backdoor look. Very well executed by Michigan. And then NC State, just all kinds of trouble. All right, they cannot seem to get the ball past midcourt. And Olivia Olsen is now showing us why she's an All-American. She's making plays. 27 points off 18 NC State turnovers.
That's more than half of Michigan's score, and the defense has been crushing.
So here's the thing in the run and jump. So they wait till the second person who passes it in gets up the floor a little bit, and as they're going away, they run and bring you a double team. Therefore, there's nobody behind the ball as an outlet. Zam Jones is going to have to beat her first primary immediately so that they don't get into the run and jump situation.
Under 3 minutes to go in the third quarter. Winner headed to the Sweet 16. Pierre hard off the window, gets the rebound.
Michigan plays zone.
Jones will try for three and hit it. Her first of the day. And she's into double figures with 10 after that 30-point outing against Tennessee in the first round.
NC State playing man-to-man D, or they're in that box and one again with Lunin on swords.
They came all the way back from a 13-point deficit in the first half. Now can they come back from the 14 points behind in the second half? Off the side of the backboard from Samuels. Or can Michigan keep stepping on the gas here to close out the third?
Yeah, that was the difference in the first half, right? Michigan had a 10-point, 13-point lead, and they let NC State back in because they got away from their ball pressure. Zam Jones doing an excellent job spacing out against the zone and knocking it down. They're going to need a few more threes to get into this, get back in this. NC State 2 for 8.
Boy, and the struggles continue for Kaishi Lunin. Just has not been able to find her footing today. She just picked up her 4th personal foul. And I don't know if the NC State bench knew that it was her 4th, and Samuels may have been checking in for a different player. And a warning to the NC State bench. Lunin will have to stay on the court here with 2 minutes to go and 4 fouls here in the third.
I think there was a substitution, but time has to go off the clock before she can come back in.
Delphos attacking. Rebounds her own miss and puts it back up and in. What a move by Delphos.
You know, when we talk sophomores, you can't forget about this one. The top 4 scorers for Michigan are all sophomores. What a good, solid core. What a connected group.
Out of Ewing, New Jersey. Short on the free throw.
They look young on paper, but they don't play like a young team. They play with some maturity. Let's see if they can really separate here.
Well, because 3 of the 4 had to start last year as freshmen. Right from day one, Quigley hits the 3 for NC State.
See, bringing 2 to the ball in the quarter court is different than the full court for NC State, as Delphos just blows by the Wolfpack defense.
Well, she knows she's got the advantage against Maddie Cox. Jones Quigley this time on the closeout, and another and one chance for NC State, and a technical foul called on NC State's Camille Pierre at the end of the play. Shoved a Michigan player out of the way.
They're going to probably have to go look at this. This is a great play by Quigley. She just hits a three. They come with a long closeout, off the glass, and one.
Oh, she threw the ball at her. Right underneath the bucket, 12 in red, and then throws the ball at the Michigan player.
Well, it didn't hit her, but she threw it in her direction, and that's counts. They're not going to have to look at it. And it's a dead ball technical foul. So you're going to shoot the technical first.
Pierre will check out. Trieger comes on.
Oh, I thought you would shoot the technicals first and then go back to the point of interruption, which would be Quigley at the line.
So Quigley, who is a 63% free throw shooter, has only taken 11 all season. Primarily stays out beyond the arc. Completes her and one, the 7th of the day for NC State. And now the technicals at the other end, it'll be Swords.
That counts as a personal for Pierre. That's her third.
Member of the Canadian national team, played in the Paris Olympics, was on the ESPN all-freshman team nationally a year ago, and she gets a pair, and it's white ball.
Assistant coach Nikki West over there with Camille Pierre at the end of the bench having a discussion. NC State in the zone.
Weak side. The rebounding domination continues for Michigan. Holloway, the second chance, no. Held ball will stay here.
And Michigan has played well here in the second half. They've been disruptive. They've kept NC State off balance. They've imposed their identity at times in the game. They've changed the rhythm of the game. And they did that in the first half without Olsen getting going. Now Olsen is playing like an All-American.
Swords on the inbound. That's what they love to do, and it's worked every time.
I'm telling you, there's not many shooters that get their feet down as quickly as Swords. Such a good job of exit cutting to the three-point line.
Can pretty much hold here for one for NC State, as Swords now has 18 on the day. Double comes at Zam Jones. She stepped on the midcourt line. 5.7 here for Michigan off the turnover.
This is how much you miss Zoe Brooks. Michigan brings two to the ball, and you should welcome and invite pressure, but the size
Gonna
of Jones
look for Swords likely here. Holloway. Olsen off the bounce. She'll take it and knock it down to beat the buzzer. Oh, Michigan in the third quarter. And they match their biggest lead of the day. The NCAA Women's Championship, presented by Capital One, will continue after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Alabama or Louisville next weekend in Texas. Third quarter, 20 points off of 10 NC State turnovers for Michigan, and they have busted it open. Olivia Olsen showed up and scored all 11 of her points in that third quarter after a quiet first half. And the sophomores, as usual, getting it done.
I think you're always learning, evolving, changing, tweaking. Kim Barnes-Arico's team here in the second half They got a double-digit lead, and they've kept it. Their defensive intensity, their disruption, and their ability to keep NC State off balance has been fantastic. I mean, they really smelled the blood in the water here in the third quarter.
Holloway and Swords.
And one of the things we talked to Kim Barnes-Arico about at practice yesterday was sustaining a mature level in game, late game.
40 minutes. The four sophomores are out there together with Dudley. On the drive, Swords fouled with 1 on the shot clock.
NC State foul number 18, Tula Trieger.
And she'll try and hit the 20-point mark here at the line. Second on Trieger.
When you suffer the most significant injury of the tournament so far, which NC State has had to try to play through without Zoe Brooks, it's challenging.
Coverage of the NCAA Men's Basketball Championship continues on CBS, TBS, TNT, and True TV. For tournament game times and networks, go to ncaa.com. Michigan men and women together in the tournament, still alive.
Michigan is rotating so well out of their pressure. You can't put the ball over your head either, and you dribble right into one of those hot spots that we called, or those situations where they're gonna really clamp down on their traps. I've been impressed with how aggressive they are, how committed they are, how good their defensive habits have been in the traps, and the way they rotate out of them.
Jones got it. Zam now with a dozen to go along with 7 assists today. Olsen uses the screen, the hesitation, count it, and Olivia to the line.
Devin Quigley challenged with defending the All-American right here. Olsen does such a good job of powering through the contact. It's a big, strong woman right here who's really good off the glass.
Kim Barnes-Arico telling us yesterday she's constantly in her office. How can I get better? What do I need to do? What do I need to work on and improve? An All-American as a sophomore. Lunan does get to the middle of the floor, scoops it up and in.
You gotta beat your primary, Beth. You have to beat the person that's guarding you.
Holloway, the nice cross.
If you get a couple of layups, that's the only way you're gonna get Michigan to take it off.
Olsen for 3, and she's having a massive second half. After a quiet first round and a quiet finish to the regular season, she's arrived today. Jones lays it up and in.
2 layups in a row. NC State's got to get stops. That's the only way they can get back in it now.
Olsen with 17, all in the second half.
Wow.
And Swords now with 23 on her 3rd triple of the game.
They are pouring it on. Michigan playing to their identity and the way they have won 26 games this season, 15-1 at home. They've only lost to UCLA at home this year.
Looking to get to the Sweet 16 for the 3rd time with KBA on the sideline. They were there in 21 and again in 22, and Holloway for 3. And the sophomores are ready to shut the house down for the season in a big way.
The 3-point line is open, and it's first to Olsen, the sophomore. The next is Swords, their best 3-point shooter. Sophomore, hands down, man down. And then Holloway finally finds the stroke, showing the confidence, a sophomore.
In their final home game of the season, the sophomores have scored 62 of their 74 points as Quigley hits a 3.
Well, Holloway doing a good thing right there, running right up the backside of Trieger.
Swords almost made it 4 in a row.
You do that, you run up the backside of a big, you open up the floor on the top. Really well done.
A record-setting regular season for most regular season wins, most Big Ten wins in conference play. Olsen, 3.
Now, many ball fakes today have we seen from NC State.
They've played a tough schedule the last couple of years as freshmen first and then as sophomores. They're the only team that has been close to UConn in the Huskies' 51-game winning streak.
And if you go and look at that box score, UConn got out to a huge lead in the first quarter, but then Michigan outscored them the next 3 quarters.
It was back in November.
Same with the University of Louisville. Same thing for Jeff Wall's team. The 2 teams that played UConn the closest. UConn outscored Louisville in the first quarter, and then Louisville outscored them the next 3.
His team may be next if the seeds hold. They play Alabama in the second round. That game will lead off our coverage tomorrow at noon Eastern on ESPN.
Really good backcourt at Alabama with Jessica Timmons and Carly Weathers for Jeff Walls and his balanced, no alpha team, really. I mean, they are so balanced. They have played a tough schedule as well to put themselves in a position to advance in March.
This second round is going to be fun for bragging rights as well as advancing because there are 5 head-to-head matchups, Big Ten versus SEC, and 4 head-to-head matchups, Big Ten versus ACC.
You've talked about it a couple of times today, Beth, about LSU coming up next on our air. LSU has one of the best backcourt combination of talent that we will see in the NCAA as a 2 seed for Kim Mulkey. She won a national championship as a 3 seed at LSU, and Coach Mulkey's won 4 national championships.
This tournament has been very top-heavy over the course of the last 4 decades. In fact, the 1s and the 2 seeds have won 40 of the 43 championships. A 3 seed has won it 4 times. No one below that has ever won it. And that is the 5th personal foul on Kaishi Lunin. A frustrating day for the freshman making her first start in place of the injured Zoe Brooks this afternoon.
Look at Zam building confidence with her freshman backcourt mate. That's the first signs of what Westmore will have as a good leader for next year along with Zoe Brooks. NC State has no seniors. This whole team can return. Now, whether they will return or not, we'll see.
That's the new day in college hoops. Holloway gets the inbounds this time instead of Swords.
You got to move it.
Trieger. Holloway able to hold up Quigley, and it's Michigan ball.
When your 5 player can rotate out and trap like Michigan can, when they can put 5 players on the floor that are all locked in defensively, and then the way they shoot the 3 and the balance they have, they've got a real chance to advance in the NCAA tournament.
Olivia Olsen checks out.
"19 second half points for Olsen.
And she's right on her average.
The All-American. 3rd team All-American by the AP.
Under 5 to go. Michigan inching closer to a spot in the Sweet 16, where they would join North Carolina, a winner earlier today over Maryland. Tar Heels have advanced. Holloway going to be whistled for the hold. And we are at the midway timeout. Big day for the sophomores. 64 to 76 points for the team. The team. The team. Well, plenty of star power on display today. Second round coverage of the women's NCAA championships. And those three have been doing it all year long for Michigan. And big second half at what was a three-point game at the intermission, Debbie.
They've got great balance. Their shot selection is excellent. They've scored a lot of points off their defense, has Michigan. They have 4 different players that have had 20 or more this season. They've got 6 different leading scorers. They got great balance. 7 different players can shoot the three with consistency. But I'm impressed with their defense. Their perimeter size, their commitment to trap, their short, choppy steps, and their high hands. Those are the kind of details that work in March. Kim Barnes-Arico, the winningest coach in Michigan history in her 30th year and her 14th season at Michigan. And for NC State, you know what, Beth, I mean, it's just a tough blow. Zoe Brooks, the injury Friday night. Your starting point guard, your most dominant ball handler against the Michigan defense. Just not a good recipe for NC State, not enough guards to be able to handle.
3 ball en route, no good from Melissa Crockett. Well, I think for Wolverine fans now, the excitement builds. How does this group play the deeper they get into this tournament? You know, none of the Currents were on that Elite 8 team or that last Sweet 16 team, and certainly the talk will start to ratchet up about whether or not the Big Ten can get back to the Final Four. Certainly UCLA, a 1 seed on track to get there. Probably at some point gonna have to go through Texas, the 1 seed in this region, if you're Michigan.
Well, let me say this about Michigan as a 2 seed, because I do believe, having witnessed them for the 5 days that we've been here through practice and games.
Never been this high before, by the way.
Yeah, they're connected, and they may look young on paper, but they're a very experienced group, and they've gone through what many would consider the best league in the country this year. 12 teams representing the Big Ten. But their perimeter size and their ability on defense to generate offense, especially when the game slows down, possessions shrink, and you can create something with a committed D, that can take you a long ways in March.
Olsen now over 20. You know, when they were high school freshmen, this roster kind of collapsed. There were graduations and departures. They only had 4 guys on the roster. And all of these now sophomores stayed committed, said, we are still coming, coach. We want this opportunity to play right away, to grow together. And now here they are, already building something special.
Last year, they got bounced in the second round, and they got beat pretty badly. And Kim Barnes-Arico told us she got on the bus to travel back to Ann Arbor, and the first thing she did when she sat down is get a text from Silas Swords that said, Coach, we're coming back, we're sticking together, this group wants to win together. And if that's not leadership out of your young team and your young core.
Kim can't watch. Still,
She
still, by the way, has the best sweater game in the business. Jess Sims has a close-up of the action over there courtside.
You know Kim Barnes-Arico has run the New York City Marathon before, right? I mean, there's a lot of energy over there.
Well, as a New Yorker, I'm sure there's some colorful language flying about. Sarah Van Meter, their great SID, right behind her there.
You talk about great hosts. We've had a great time here.
Yep. This was a 3-point game at the half, and a good Michigan defense became a great one in the third quarter. They forced 10 turnovers, almost all of them live ball in the middle of the floor or in the front court, the back court, and scored 20 points off of that to bust this thing open. Olsen all her points in the second half, and now she's got 24 for the All-American. Stolen by Sofakanik. Olsen has it blocked by Pierre. Sofakanik checks out. Nice moment for the junior from New Jersey who transferred in from Bucknell, had tremendous success in the Patriot League, wanted a bigger challenge, and she's getting one here. Quarles Daniels made all the hustle plays in the first and second rounds for Michigan. And Swords, wow, that's what she does best. Another three, her fourth.
When you watch them in the second half with their D and their balance on offense, it's impressive.
And congratulations to Silas Swords with her 26 points. That last bucket, 1,000 for her career in just 2 seasons. Final 2 minutes to the Sweet 16 for Michigan. And Olsen,
they can't miss. They have had a fun time together. You can see how much joy they play with. They're going to be a tough out in March.
She was riding the struggle bus for a couple of weeks, and she has parked that sucker. And has moved on, 27 points, all in the second half. And the sophomores are about to check out. Olsen 27, Swords 26, Holloway 13 and 9. And they will move on to the Sweet 16, get ready for Louisville or Alabama.
And let's not sleep on the great year Wes Moore had. And with his team, winning 21 games.
Crockett hits a three. They have a chance to bring everybody back next year if they stay together. And the most significant loss of the first round, definitely an impact today with the injury to Zoe Brooks. But it's the Michigan Wolverines' day. And the chance of Let's Go Blue as they get ready to go to the Sweet 16 in Fort Worth, Texas. So the Michigan men and women moving on. And they are taking some momentum with them. A rebound for Ayanna Dunbar. Mackenzie Matherin is also into the game. So Sierra Byers. Oh, Byers with a spin move and a layup. Exclamation point, maize and blue. Adelaide Jernigan for three. And Michigan will just walk it up and put a dub on the board. 92-63 your final with a second half explosion by the Wolverines. They score 64 points coming back out of the locker room to win it going away. Let's take a look at today's Capital One rewarding performance. It's the shooter, Silas Swords, shot 50% and scored 26.
Impressive, great balance, hard work paying off, and staying connected.